What's up, everybody? Danelle Taylor, aka Small Guy Promotions, coming to you live with my man Ryan Burton, Farm Bureau Insurance. It's kind of a glare still, you think?
Yeah, there's kind of a glare.
Boom.
Wish we could shut those blinds.
Hold on. Bear with us real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Well, that's just going to be what it is, man.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah. Again, Danelle Taylor, a.k.a. Small Guy Promotions, coming to you live on Saturday, April 7th with my man Ryan Burton of Farm Bureau Insurance. You know, he's going to educate us a little bit, tell us why it's important for us to have insurance, how he got into insurance, where he's located, all those things. So this is What's Up Omaha, Small Guy Promotions, Ryan Burton, Farm Bureau Insurance Edition. So first off, Ryan.
Danelle, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, for sure. What is the location that we're in right now?
So we are currently at the Ronald J. Pelagi building, 3131 South 72nd Street. So this is 72nd and Haskell. This is where I office out of. Ron is a personal injury attorney, and so the attorneys are all downstairs in the lower level. We have our offices up here on the upper level, and then we meet clients downstairs in the conference room. So it's a good relationship with Ron and the attorneys, being personal injury attorneys. They handle the lawsuit side of a lot of insurance claims. So I learn a lot from them. Okay,
cool. So it's a great partnership.
It is, yes.
How long have you been in this building?
We've been in this building, let's see, this is our 4th year. So we moved in November. This November will be 4 years, about 3.5 years right now.
Okay. So when you started, were you always in this location?
So when I first started with Farm Bureau, I worked for another agent for about 6 months out of that agent's office. That was kind of my time where I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go with my career. Then I decided that my goal was to become a Farm Bureau agent. Once I became an agent, I was in the New Agent Development Center, which is out on, back then it was on 152nd and Q. So about 6 months at the New Agent Development Center. And then this opportunity came up, and like I said, it worked out well moving out here. It's a good fit with Ron and the attorneys.
Okay, cool. Sorry guys, I had to get comfortable. It was hot with a sweatshirt on. So
you got to represent for 402 Barbecue too, right?
Oh, that too, man. You know,
Yep.
402 Barbecue. Boom. So man, like one of the things that I always talk about is small Omaha and how we get connected with so many different people. So, full time, I work at TD Ameritrade. Ryan actually used to work at TD Ameritrade, but we didn't meet each other through TD Ameritrade. We actually met each other through a mutual friend who I used to go to high school with, Mario Bernal. How did you know Mario?
So let's see. I met Mario probably about 10 years ago. My roommate at the time was good friends with him, and we used to just hang out a lot. Just through mutual friends, basically.
So, and Mario knew that I used to, or that I coordinate events, and that I'm all about supporting the local Omaha people out doing good things around the area. So I wanted to make sure, to reach as many people as I could. So Mario knew that about me, and he knew Ryan started his own thing. So he's like, man, you guys should connect. He hit Ryan up, connected us. Ryan messaged me, and then we met at New York Burrito over there in Oak Mill.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah,
we
had
that.
Had a little lunch together, and man, the rest is pretty much history. You participated in some of our vendor events, but it goes deeper than that. We've stayed in communication. We actually have insurance through Ryan for like our life insurance. So let's talk a little bit about insurance. What made you like switch from doing being in the securities industry to come into insurance?
When I was growing up, I've always been fond of owning my own business. I had a couple businesses when I was younger. I had a lawn care service. I also grew up in a family where investing was something that was instilled in us in a young age. So when I was in my late 20s, I had my lawn care service, which was Jaybird Lawn Care Service, and then I worked over at TD Ameritrade. I did after-hour support there on the phone. So I worked 12-hour shifts Saturday, Sunday, Monday over at TD Ameritrade, and then I had my lawn care service, which I would do, during the other days of the week. So it kept me busy. Tax season was perfect because there's no lawn care service because of the weather, but then unlimited overtime at TD Ameritrade. So
yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, he knows about that. Yeah. You're going through that right now. Yeah, tax season not fun when you're at TD Ameritrade. But so I got to a point where I had to either, the business was growing, so I had to decide, do I want to be a business owner and keep going with the lawn care service, or do I want to really go full-time and into the investor side? Now, around the same time, some friends of mine had just come back from Iraq. They served in the Marines, and they had started out at a life insurance company here in Omaha, and it was kind of a group of good buddies of mine. And they had said, hey, you can come and get into life insurance and still own your own business. Yeah. And I really liked that idea, and I didn't want to leave TD Ameritrade for the benefits, but I also didn't want to stop being a business owner, and I kind of was at this crossing point where I had to figure out what I was going to do. So I said, I'm going to go check this out and give it a shot. So I sold my lawn care service, went over there, worked with that company for about a year. I won't name the company, but I didn't love it. It's when you think about insurance, sometimes you think about companies maybe that don't have top ethics, and that's what my feeling was over there. My ethics didn't align with theirs, essentially.
Right.
So I was getting ready to go back to TD Ameritrade. My insurance was through Farm Bureau. I had a Farm Bureau agent, Jared Spangenberg, over in Council Bluffs. So I knew a little bit about Farm Bureau. But one of my friends who, was at the other company with me was working for this agent one time at this time, and he said, "Come check us out for a couple months, before you go back to TD Ameritrade," because I, already quit at the other company. I was fed up over there. I said, "Yeah, I'd love to go work with my friend for a little bit." I did that, and within a month or two, I said, "This is where I want to be. I want to be a Farm Bureau agent." I almost judged all of insurance off of that one company, but I'm glad I didn't, because coming to Farm Bureau was a completely different. It was the ethical company who is there to help people, not just push insurance products on them.
Yeah. And I will say, Ryan met with us and gave us a sheet for us to select the things that are most important for our future, whether it be retirement or saving for kids' education or just whatever. So he tailors the plan of whatever for your insurance needs, for you personally. There's not just a blanket. I mean, there probably is something out there that's just more generalized, but he can give you a very specific and personal plan to put you on. And,
Absolutely.
Of course, he just provides the options to you. You decide if it's something that you want to do or not.
So we try to tailor our recommendations based on the individual. A lot of people have their insurance for their auto through this one place, their life through this other place, their investments through this other place. Farm Bureau Financial Services, we put together a consolidated plan for you, and we make recommendations as well. So, we can have your home, life, investments all kind of tied under one agent. Mm-hmm. That's our big thing: one policy, one agent, one deductible. So, one-stop shop, basically.
Yeah. So, it's not easy. You got to. I mean, in the brokerage side of things, the securities industry, you have to get licenses. Now, in the insurance industry, when you're dealing with that type of stuff, you got to get a whole separate set of licenses.
Yes.
What's that process like?
So the part that was nice for me is I already had my financial licenses from when I was at TD Ameritrade, and so I had half the licenses already to be a Farm Bureau agent.
Okay.
When I went to the life insurance company, I got my life license, and so when I came to Farm Bureau, the only license I needed to get at that time was my property and casualty, the home and auto license.
Okay.
And the financial license is the Series 7, which is probably the hardest test I've taken. That was the first one I took at TD Ameritrade. You know about that one. So after that, the rest of them, seemed not that bad to me. I see other people come to Farm Bureau and maybe they struggle with their property and casualty or life test, but after learning how to prepare for the Series 7, those ones don't seem so bad. So.
Yeah, man, that stuff is. Hey, man, I said I don't want to take any more tests. I'm done taking tests.
Right.
And that was 10 years ago. I've just come up with my 10-year anniversary here at the end of the month.
Congratulations.
So yeah, it's been a while. I was a young pup when I started. I feel like an old man now. So man,
I see a couple grays.
Oh man, it's grays all all of my dreads and stuff. I'm gonna look like dude from The Walking Dead, with all the gray hair. You watch Walking Dead?
Yep.
What's his name? He's like the king.
I can't. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I see the resemblance though.
So Another thing that I talk about is how hard it is for small business owners. I mean, because you're a part of a bigger corporation, but essentially you're a small business owner.
Right. Yeah. So I'm a contractor through Farm Bureau. So I have my agency. It's the Ryan Burden Agency Incorporated. I have an S corporation, and so my contract is with Farm Bureau. But then my staff, my employees, I pay all them myself. The building rent, that's on me to pay. All the other expenses that come along with it. So
How many employees do you have?
I've got 1 full-time and 3 part-time. So
okay, cool.
And that's kind of one of the difficult parts of it is balancing. When you work for another company, you might be a manager, but then somebody else is paying your employees. In this role, you're the manager, and so you have to make sure you're managing the budget along with it. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into owning the agency aside from just putting together plans for people and protecting livelihoods and futures. That's the part that I've really learned as I went. And like I said, I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I think that's why this was a good fit for me, because I did do some small business stuff when I was younger too.
Yeah. And that thing that you said, with the payroll, that in itself, I know it's tough. I have another friend who he was in the construction business, had his own company, and he was like trying to go to school and take classes for payroll, and he was like, there's just so much stuff to do, and he just like ended up, Kellett Construction. He just decided that all the headaches and all the work that was associated with it just. He wanted to
have to get help.
Family.
Yeah, you can't do it all. That's one thing I've learned. I have a CPA who manages the tax side for me. I have a payroll company who helps out with the payroll. They actually do the direct deposits and stuff like that. So those things are expenses, but they're important, because without those other people, who I pay to do that stuff for me, I wouldn't be able to spend as much time focusing on my clients and growing the business, which the clients is the important part, and also the employees too, making sure that they're happy as well.
Yeah. So 4 years, and the thing that I say, or the stat that I typically toss out, is about a lot of small businesses closing within those first 3 years. So you've passed that 3-year point. Is this something that you feel like you will do forever? And what do you attribute, and maybe it's those things that you just said, to being able to be successful in that time and keep it going?
So kind of what you started out with in that question is the 3-4 year threshold. I've seen a lot of young agents, or beginning agents, I should say, come and go. And so it's the same thing with being an insurance agent. There's a lot of people that come in and maybe all different backgrounds, and some of them just within a year or two they're gone. And I think a lot of it has to do with tenacity. There's going to be ups and downs in any business. I don't care what it is, but you have to be able to survive the downs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And level it out. When you see growth in any type of business, any type of growth scale, there's never a straight line that grows like that. It grows like this. So you got to get through those down periods, and then hard work. A lot of my clients, they're not available to meet during the day, so I work a lot of evenings, Saturday mornings. I was in here, I had an appointment this morning, super check review with one of my clients, and it's just something that comes with the territory. I think any business owner is going to work odd hours. But if that's what you sign up for, then you have to be willing to do it. A lot of people, they jump in, they don't know all the hours they're going to work, and then they don't want to work those hours, and then they tend to disappear over time. But I think I'm at a stage now. This is definitely what I want to do for the rest of my life. I knew after those 6 months at Farm Bureau that this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I'm a lot more comfortable now that I've made it to that 4-year mark, and now other people see that this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life too. I knew before, but now I have the validation. I think from the company and from other people as well. So.
Okay, so people, you're getting that validation, and along with that, I know, especially when you're a younger person, when you start to talk about life insurance, a lot of younger people are like, life insurance? I don't need life insurance. I'm healthy. I'm young. I got time on my side. Why do I need life insurance? What would you say to that person out there that thinks that they don't need life insurance?
So when you're healthy and young is when you want to get your life insurance for several reasons. One, because that's when it's cheap.
Yep.
It's only going to get more expensive. So you wait to get it till you're older, and you may not be able to afford it at that time.
Yeah.
And then two is that life insurance, you can't just go and get it at any time you want. You have to qualify for it. So it's kind of like with your house. You can't go get insurance on your house after there's a fire. You have to have insurance before the fire happens. You don't get cancer, you don't have a heart attack, and then go get life insurance the next day. The life insurance company is not going to issue it to you. You have to qualify. So once you're qualified, though, it's locked in for the rest of your life, through Farm Bureau at least. So, I always recommend for people to get their life insurance while they're young and healthy. It's affordable, and they qualify for it. And we can use your life insurance as one of your means for financial security later on in life. A lot of people don't know that we tie those two together. We have cash value that builds up in certain permanent life insurance products, and we can use that as part of your distribution strategy for retirement preparations as well. So the younger you are when you get into one of those, the more time we have to amass money for your distribution when you're ready for retirement.
Got you. Hey, what's up, JP? How you doing, man? So like, are you just solely in Nebraska? I'm not quite sure myself. So are you solely in Nebraska as far as insurance goes?
So Farm Bureau Financial Services is available to Farm Bureau members within 8 states. When I say Farm Bureau members, when you get your insurance through me, you become a member of your county Farm Bureau. So it's a great organization. It represents local agriculture. Nebraska is an ag state. Even though we're in Omaha, we don't see it as much. We both like to eat. We're both members of the Omaha food group, right? We are huge agricultural supporters, whether we know it or not.
Try to eat local.
Yes, eat local, yes. So Farm Bureau supports local farms. So by being a member, you're supporting farms in Douglas County and Nebraska. Back to your question, though, we're available in 8 states on the Midwest. So Minnesota, Kansas, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and then we've got our 3 Southwest states, Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. I am licensed in 4 of those states, so I provide insurance in Arizona, Utah, Iowa, and Nebraska at this time.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, because I was wondering if people actually, like you said, you met with someone earlier. Is it typical to just do stuff over the phone or through email and things like that?
For property locally, we'll do stuff. I mean, we try to meet everybody in person. We're a very face-to-face organization, Some other insurance companies, they don't really tailor to your needs. They're more online and robotic, where we build relationships. With life insurance, we can't really do it online if you're outside of the state. So, like, I have friends who live in other states who have life insurance through me, but they were in this state when we signed the contracts.
Gotcha.
With property insurance, the property has to be here. So if your home is in Iowa, Nebraska, we can insure your home, and we can do that, online. You have to sign some stuff, but I prefer to do it in person. But the life stuff, if you live out of state, we have to be in the state I'm licensed in when we sign the contracts. So.
Okay. So, man, there's just so many different things.
It's complex, I know.
Like, for a lot of people who may not know or have they're not educated, or they're kind of, I don't know, like ignorant, but not in a bad way, but just they don't know about insurance. A lot of people don't know about it until they need it, or and
that was me 10 years ago. I didn't always know all the stuff about insurance.
Yeah, or you only believe, and this is what I want to ask too. You work at a place through your employer. Your employer gives you insurance. And you have life insurance, and you think that that's all the life insurance that you need. But one important thing about that is you never know what can happen with that company and that employment. You might get fired, laid off, the company might go under, you might decide to work somewhere else. So it's important to make sure, like he said, to get that insurance when you're younger, so outside of your employer, because regardless, you'll be covered. That's one thing that you might take for granted. You think that you're squared away and you're good because you have it through your employer, and then you work for an employer for, like I said, I've been with my employer for 10 years. But if something happened and I decided to not work there, or I got let go for whatever reason or something, I would no longer have life insurance for my family through my employer. So take that added step to be secure. And it's not that expensive. For my whole family, and my wife and I, and we each have insurance through my work and individually through Farm Bureau. I really think that that's important, and it's something that people maybe don't think about, or they kind of take for granted and think, hey, I will be all right because I have it through work. That's not always the case, though. So, do you see a lot of people who...
I hear that all the time when we sit down with people, because the question I'll ask is, what are your thoughts on life insurance, and then instead of going to what they think about it, they'll tell me, well, I have it through work.
Yeah.
They're thinking, oh, he wants to sell me life insurance now.
Yep.
I don't want to talk about it. And so you just brought up one really good point. You get it when you're young and it's locked in and you can't never lose it, because when you leave that job, most people think, oh, I have this through my job and it'll be there when I retire. About 95% of the time when you leave that job, you lose that life insurance, whether it's retirement, fired, the company goes under, whatever. I would say aside from that, though, especially when you're young and have children, most companies will give you like 1 year's salary. Now, if you die tomorrow, 1 year's salary is good to have, but it's probably not going to be enough to really take care of everything in the household. So someone very close to me recently passed away at 45 years old. His spouse was a non-working individual. She was a stay-at-home mom. They have a 9-year-old daughter. So they had $100,000 through the job, which is a decent amount, but they also had another amount through their insurance company. Now, for a non-working spouse,
I'll get that in after he finishes this.
That $100,000 wouldn't have went very far when she doesn't work, So not only was this person's life insurance locked in, but also they had enough life insurance. You know? People think, I have life insurance. Well, how much do you have? You know, there's more to it than that. Is it going to be enough for your family?
And I will say through my employer, they do offer up to like 6 or 8 times your salary, so I make sure I'm not just covered for 1 year, so I have that. I think it's at 5 or 6 years plus the insurance that I have through Farm Bureau, so my family will be taken care of.
TD Ameritrade has great benefits. So
yes,
they offer more
do.
than most other companies
they
do.
Yeah. Hey, if you want benefits, come to TD Ameritrade. If
Absolutely.
you're looking for work, use me as a reference. Let me know. So I can get paid,
Or my beautiful wife Lacey, she works there too. You can use her as well.
She does as well. So, but JP, who's watching, he has a question. I know he has a young daughter. I think she just turned 1. JP, I might be.
Congratulations.
Maybe she just turned 2, but she's fairly young. So he's asking, what is the average cost for $250,000 of life insurance?
So it's going to depend on your age and your health status. If you use tobacco products, you smoke, you chew, you're going to pay about 40% more. So, do you know how old is JP? Late 20s?
JP, you're like my age, right? I mean, I'm 37, so you're a little younger though, right?
Are you 37? I thought you were
I'll be 37 this year, like in September. Yeah. So don't let the baby face foot.
We feel younger though, right? Yeah. I'm 36, so.
So yeah, September I'll be 37.
So I would say, for someone in their early to mid 30s, $250,000 of life insurance.
He's 39.
39, okay. So assuming that you don't use tobacco, you're pretty healthy. I mean, you might be looking at around $30 to $40 a month. Tall, skinny people tend to get a little bit cheaper. I have standard rates.
JP is he's taller and
okay. I have standard rates because I'm not tall and skinny. But you can get preferred or super preferred based on your your blood work and your height to weight. So if you're very healthy, that could be down to maybe $20 a month instead of $30. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I know JP's had some health issues before. I don't know how bad that was, as far as insurance goes. So I don't know how big of a factor that would be. But JP, if you need to talk to somebody, like, he is the dude. Like, I like to do business with people that I know and feel comfortable with, and it was no hassle with Ryan. Like, I really felt comfortable, and I felt like he wanted what was best for us, and he wanted whatever we wanted. Most of all, regardless of if we went with him or not, he wanted us to know what our options were. So he tried to educate us about the information, and it's not just. I mean, it is a business, so there are some. I don't want to say selfish is not the right term that I'm looking for, but you want to be able to provide. So he has to get clients in. Yes, that's a part of it, but he's also trying to help out and give back and educate people on why they need life insurance, whether they go with him or someone else or they don't get it at all. He wants people to at least have that knowledge so they know that they have a choice with their future. So it can only help you. I don't even, the amount that my wife and I pay total each month, it just automatically comes out of the account. It's not a huge amount. We don't worry about it at all. We know that it's taken care of through the direct deposit. I sleep so much more and more soundly, and I know that my family, if I die today, my family will be okay. And like he said, a lot of employers only give you that 1 year So if you can get some additional, like especially if you own a home or something like that, or if you have car payments, things like that, it's important to have life insurance to take care of that.
And just putting food on the table too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's all the stuff that your monthly paychecks goes toward that you don't even really think about. You know?
Yeah,
But,
you gotta think you're missing
the kids
that
have
whole
to
income.
eat. You know, you got to pay the light bill. I mean, that all your paycheck goes towards that. So
And especially if your kids are young. I mean, like, if you were going to be married for like you plan to be married as long as you lived, and one of you or your spouse passes away early, that could be like 15 years of salary that you're missing out on because, maybe you don't get remarried or whatever.
income replacement is the term that you're looking at. Yeah, you're when we do a policy for a young person, we usually do a term policy. That's like what you have, and so that's your income replacement. You know, if I die while I'm young, this is replacing my income for the next X amount of years. So when I sit down with someone, one of the questions we'll ask, how much money do you make per year? How much do you bring into the household? How many years would you like to have that income replaced? You know, so that's a great way to think about it.
Yeah, and it's peace of mind. Like, I know that if my girls want to go to school, to college or whatever, whatever it is, like they will, between that and like the retirement money that I have saved up, like my girls will be okay. Like, you can't replace the loss of someone, but like having that peace of mind, knowing that they'll be taken care of financially, is like, it's a big comfort, and you can rest easy knowing that that's taken care of, and they won't have to. Like, can you imagine having, like, JP? Can you imagine something tragic happening, and like, unfortunately, you pass away, and you have a young daughter, and she has to struggle, like growing up, to eat or to be clothed or shelter or whatever it is, because you didn't have the proper insurance in place to make sure that she was taken care of in the case that you wouldn't be around. Like, it's
terrible either way. And like I said, this person who's close to me, who's going through this right now, they have a young daughter. We can't replace the loss of that daughter's father. We're going to help out as much as we can as a community, but at least now the mom, they have to worry about being homeless. You know what I mean? Like, just imagine adding all of that on to losing a loved one.
Yeah.
They're financially secure, so that we can focus on the things we need to focus on.
So you're saying, does using the cash value take away your coverage for it if you pass?
No. So if you have a permanent policy with cash value in it, you'll have your cash value portion, which builds up over time, and that can be based on a fixed return in like a whole life product, or it can be based on a return tied into the stock market, like an index. We use the S&P 500 return for one of those. So you have your cash value that grows, and then you have your death benefit as well. So the cash value, that can be used to take withdrawals out later on in life. Those can be used for college funds for kids. Those can be used for, like I said, retirement earlier, pay the house off early. And then you have the death benefit as well. So if the cash value gets high enough and you don't take money out of there, the death benefit will start to increase. So, and what I do, if we talk about like an index universal life policy, we'll put together an illustration and kind of show you, tailored to you individually, how that works. And then there's flexible premium with an index universal life too. So, you can, if you get a big tax return and you want to pump more into the investment portion of it, you can do that. It's got a 0 floor and 11.5% cap. So last year, as you know, the stock market did fantastic. It capped out at 11.5%. I think the index, the S&P 500, made like 20%. So all the clients got 11.5%. Now, if this next year, we have a down year in the market, it's got a 0 floor. So the 11.5% has already been put into the cash value of those people's policies, and then they won't lose any money this next year. It's locked in.
That's nice. Glad you asked that.
Good question.
Man, there's just so many different things. Again, regardless of if you decide to get insurance through Ryan or somewhere else, like, the important thing is to learn something and make sure that you're covered some way. At least know what's out there for you. Knowledge is, people always say knowledge is power, and this is something that a lot of young people may not consider, and it's something that you should consider. Man, I don't know what I would do. I mean, if I passed away and I don't know. Like, that would just be the thought of my kids struggling, like, is something that I can't fathom, and I cannot allow. As long as I can work like I'm gonna make sure that they are taken care of. So, and with that too, we've just kind of been talking a lot about property and life insurance. What about like if you get injured or something like that? Do you provide an insurance for?
So with our permanent products, there's we can tie in long-term care into that as well. And so a lot of people, especially young people, we all know we're going to die one day. But we all may have a grandparent or a great grandparent that we see who maybe goes to a home. Nowadays, cancer is not a death sentence like it used to be. So a lot of the times when we get cancer or a heart problem, we're still alive, but now we can't work anymore.
Yeah.
So we have a rider that can be built in with some of our permanent products. And what this allows is that you can get that death benefit and use it for long-term care before you die. So if you get maybe a permanent policy for $250,000, and 30 years from now, 40 years from now, whatever it is, you get sick and you're no longer able to care for yourself, you can use that death benefit for long-term care.
Yeah.
Now, we also have long-term care policies exclusively available. We do those through a third-party company. Those are really expensive, though, because the cost of long-term care is super expensive. And people don't like pumping all this money into long-term care because you don't know for sure if you're going to use that or not. Like I said, we all know we're going to die one day, but we don't know if we're going to need long-term care. So the nice thing about the permanent life products with the rider on there is that I've got my death benefit. If I need it for long-term care, it's there for that too. So it kind of ties those two needs into one.
Okay. Cool.
As far as like accidental stuff like that, there's products that we have for accidental deaths and hospitalizations and things too. So wide variety of different kind of products that we have. But the long-term care, I think, is probably the biggest thing that people really don't think about. And it's a huge issue for people this time of day.
That's what I try to tell my mom. I'm like, she's older now, and it's like, dude, life insurance is one thing. That's like if you die, but what if you don't die? And like, what if you hurt yourself and can't work? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, Mom, you need to have some kind of coverage. And I tried to get her to call Ryan, and I don't think she ever did. But
I think we maybe chatted one time, and she's some people are just nervous. They don't like talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the kids that don't like talking about it for mom and dad.
I'm like, no, do what you need to do because I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, I can't pay for you. Like, I love you, Mom, but like, I'm not. My money's not long like that. So like, I mean, I guess we'd have to figure something out. I don't know, but like, if you can afford to handle that yourself, please do. Like, I don't know. Like, that's a big extra added burden, and I'd be so nervous and scared about that if something were to happen and she couldn't work. And like,
it's hard on the kids too. So my grandma right now, she's in a home, and before she went there, she was kind of living on her own, but my mom had to spend a lot of time taking care of her too. And it was definitely very difficult for her. It's still difficult because she's got dementia and whatnot. Yep. And when you go to one of those homes and you don't have any money to pay for it, you get your Medicare Medicaid bed, and usually you're in a tiny room and you're sharing it with somebody else. So not a great way to to finish your life out. It's much better when you can pay for your own, and that stuff. Long-term care is expensive.
Yes. So I've already tagged Ryan's page in this post. So please go and check out his page, like it, send him any questions. Like, what phone number or email address should they reach out to if they want to contact you?
So the office number is 402-502-2851. I do text a lot of my clients too. So cell phone is 402-699-0463. Feel free to shoot me a text. And then you can always email at ryan.burden@fbfs.com. That's Farm Bureau Financial Services, FBFS.
And again, I've tagged his page here on Facebook, so you can get all that information there as well if you need it, if you want to use it, if you want to send him a question, or you have any concerns. So one thing I want to know is, like, how do you were saying about that previous place that you worked, like as a client, how do I know, like, what do you recommend to people, like, if they want to get into getting some life insurance but they're not sure about who to go to? Again, even if they don't come to you, like, what are some red flags that they should look?
I would say talk to family members and try to get a referral. You know what I mean? Try to, if you don't know somebody directly, someone that you know knows somebody.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
ask questions. I think in anything, even like I deal a lot with roofers. Because we deal a lot of property insurance. And after a big hailstorm happens, they'll get all these roofers that come into town,
Yep.
and they're usually
Fly by night.
fly by night. They're usually not the best people to go through. They'll knock on doors. Go through someone local and ask your friends and family for a referral. Not just in insurance, but I think with anything. Right?
Yeah, any service provider. We recently did that. We just got new gutters. So like Mitzi put it in the business chat. She's like, "Hey,
Yep.
any and nowadays it's so easy to ask for like a recommendation. You go on Facebook, you're like, they have a thing that says recommendation, like looking for or whatever. So you just say, I'm looking for such and such, like who knows anything.
You ask on Facebook though, and you get 89 recommendations.
Know your sources.
Yeah.
Always know your sources and do your research. Like if people refer people, don't just go off of the word. Still do some research. Do like a Google search or something. Check out their website and stuff like that. Still, it's still on you ultimately who you decide to go with. So just make sure again that you're educated and that you do your research. But yeah, that's a great tip, man. Make sure you go with people who are local. Who you can hold accountable.
Yes.
You don't want to pay somebody all this money and then, the work doesn't get done and you can't locate them or like get in contact with them or something like that. And that's just, nobody wants to trick off money.
And same thing with insurance too. Every company is not as accountable as they really when a claim happens. So with property claims, we see that some companies don't pay out very well. They'll come and say, "Oh, your roof is fine. You don't need a new roof." Or with life insurance, sometimes it can take a long time. You got to jump through hoops and ladders to get your check. One of the reasons I came to Farm Bureau is because they are very well known for claim service. I've always been service oriented myself, and I wanted to go to a company that was service oriented. And their products are great too, but their service is top notch. And if you look at the Better Business Bureau or what's the one that does the surveys every year, they rank different companies in all different industries. Farm Bureau is always towards the top of that list. So service is big to us, and claim service is not all the same in insurance.
Yeah.
Sometimes there might be companies that are known for being the cheapest company, and usually there's a reason why they're cheap. You don't find out until a claim happens,
Yeah.
and then you find out what you're actually covered for. So and that's what I do for people when we first meet. We do what's called risk analysis. So we'll sit down and look over all your coverage right now, whether it be your home, auto, life, check it all out, and then make a side-by-side comparison and show you what you do have. Your house, you might not even know that it's not covered at full replacement cost. If it's covered for actual cash value, your home is going to depreciate it after a storm happens or after a fire happens. People don't know that until they either sit down with an agent or the claim happens. They don't know until they're like, oh, your roof costs $30,000 to replace. Your insurance is only going to cover $20,000 of that. The other $10,000 is out of your pocket. So sit down with someone that you know and trust and have them look over your stuff so that you know what you do have.
So you're talking about being service oriented. Let's go to a little more fun stuff. Not that this isn't fun, but like, so you do a lot of stuff for your clients. I know that you at least have one time a year you put on an event for your clients to come out to enjoy. Is that just once a year, or is it?
So we do stuff through my agency and then through Farm Bureau too. One of the good things about Farm Bureau, I talked about earlier, being a member of the Farm Bureau. When you join, there's lots of membership benefits. One of them, locally at least, we have the Ag Night at Werner Park every year, and so that's when everybody gets tickets to the Storm Chasers game. We do a tailgate before the game. Everybody comes out. All the agents are throughout the park doing giveaways and lots of raffles and stuff like that. So when I talk about Farm Bureau being a more family organization, that's what I mean compared to other companies. You just get your insurance through them, where we do kind of stuff like that. Me and you in the past have done our own Werner Park tailgate. So that's a smaller one, just with my agency, my clients, and yourself.
Grilling and he brings
grilling and all that stuff. I'll come out and grill some burgers and stuff for people. But the Farm Bureau Ag Night, that's just a bigger one. That's all the Farm Bureau clients, not just my clients. And then we do every fall. We try to do this year will be our 4th annual Vala's Night. So we'll get campfires at Vala's, invite all the clients out. It's kind of kid themed. You've been to a couple. You've been to the first two. This last year, it ended up being like 10 degrees that night, so nobody came.
Yeah, and I think we recently went to. I mean, we had tickets.
I didn't want to be there this last year. It was freezing, so I don't blame anybody for not coming out this last year.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there's plenty of stuff that Ryan is doing, like, not just for his clients, but for
You
the
do a lot of stuff
community
in
as
the community,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's always something that I like to touch on too. So what type of things are you doing this year, or have you done in the past? Like as far as giving back or community.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of stuff with you. We do a lot of food drives, things like that. We Abide Omaha. We've worked with them quite a bit. We did the Easter egg hunt.
Last year.
Last year, were you with me last
Yeah,
year?
yeah. We came out, yeah.
We came out and helped set up the hunt. We helped kind of take everything down, put stuff away. So
I didn't do that this year.
This year I didn't either. Last year I did. I remember we did it together last year. It was a lot of fun. Usually, if there's something that I can volunteer for, I'd like to try to. I coach soccer, so anything that's involved in the community. I do a lot through the Ralston Chamber of Commerce. We do a lot of events with them, different types of events. We did the beer fest last year, which was a lot of fun. That was an adult only one.
Yeah.
Everybody comes out and as a vendor, you just bring beer for people to try and stuff. I cover a lot of restaurants. I do want to say recently I just lost one of my favorite clients. Rest in peace to Big Mama. She was a great person. The last conversation I had with her involved the funding for her thing. She really wants to provide scholarship opportunities to people who maybe have a felony in their past, or maybe when they were younger they had a drug crime, and to allow them to go to culinary school. That was her passion. So we had a great conversation a few months ago when I went and saw her in the hospital when she was kind of dealing with all this stuff.
And I didn't even know that. It had been a while since we had been to the restaurant, and aside from social media, I hadn't known.
And yeah, the family didn't, they kind of kept it under they weren't talking a whole lot about it. But just being her insurance agent, I'm in regular contact with her and stuff, so I knew she was sick. And I remember when I went to see her in the fall. Like I said, she was in a hospital bed and had just come out of the emergency room, and I went and saw her at this little facility, and she said that everybody had thought she died at the time, actually, and she said, "Ryan, I'm not ready to go." And that's how we started having this conversation about I said, well, let's talk about what we're going to do in the future, because you're not leaving today, Big Mama. Everybody was trying to write her off at that time. We had a great conversation though, and I really want to participate with her fund as well, her foundation, I should say, because I used to be in culinary as well. I have a passion for that too. And that's one of the reasons me and Big Mama got along so good.
Yeah, she was so nice.
She's my birthday buddy too. She's 2442. I was 2482. So we were 40 years apart to the day.
Yeah, she was a really nice lady. I mean, if you ever went to her restaurant and she was there, she'd make sure to come around and talk to you and make you feel at home. Like a good Southern.
She just had the best heart though. She wasn't just trying to get you to eat at her restaurant.
Yeah.
She really wanted to help people and do things for her community, and I respect that so much.
Yeah, man, and they're actually moving locations here. It's probably about. They actually participated in our event, our last expo.
Right. Yeah.
The general store, and we got a couple of we got some apple butter and some rhubarb, strawberry rhubarb jam, and some other.
Big Mama lives on
strawberry jalapeno jam. Oh man, that stuff. Thumbs up. But that was on the 24th. So they said that there was 60 days for them to left before they moved locations. So
this has been a while in the making. I remember Big Mama wanted it to happen last summer, the location move, but with her getting sick and stuff, the sandwich one's gone. That one's not there anymore. Okay. That one closed down last year. But I think with her getting sick, it kind of pushed this back a little bit. She wanted a location that was just going to be more easier to find, easier to get to, basically.
Yeah.
Just so that they could help the community even more than they already do. Just because the other one was kind of a little secluded, it was tough to get to. They didn't get as much exposure as they wanted.
Location.
Right.
So
right.
I understand that, man. But yeah, I when I saw that news that she had passed, I was just like, man, it's horrible anytime someone passes, but when you have someone who's been touching so many different people,
she's a huge part of the community.
So so shout out to Big Mama and all of her family, and just some good people. So I hope to get there. I should be going to the grand opening of the new restaurant. So I'll try to stay in touch with those guys. Man. So that's what it is, man. There's so much stuff. Taking care of his clients, giving back to the community where he can, wherever he can. Those are just big things, and just being a cool dude. That's why I wanted to make sure to give him some time to shine. I'm making it my mission to get around the Omaha area and spotlight so many people out here doing like great things and just following whatever dreams they have and like working hard to try to make them come true. You know, I'm called Small Guy Promotions, man. Like it's all about the small guys out here. Together, if we can come like and work together, like we've worked together on multiple occasions and just try to create an atmosphere of community where people just come together and like in a positive atmosphere environment, man. There's so much drama and negativity out there. If you turn the news on or you go to social media, you know, you just see all this bad stuff. Like you have to make sure that you find those good people out there and like stick with them, man. Like make sure to grow that relationship and just try to reach more people together collectively and just keep trying to change the world for better. You know, that's what it's all about.
Danelle is one of those good people. That's why I love Danelle, and I appreciate you.
I try to be, man.
Coming out today, because like you said, there's a lot of negativity out there. It's hard to not get caught up in that. And I think you're like me, where we realize that we can't control all of that, but we can control what we do and what's in front of us. You know, not that we're perfect. You know, I make mistakes too.
Oh man,
but you know, Danelle's got a great heart. You know, another one of my favorites. So thank you.
You know what? I just wanted to be better for my kids, man. Like I see all this stuff, and I used to say that I didn't want kids because the world was so horrible, and I'm just like, man, I have kids now, so the only thing I can think to do is try to, you know, do my part to make it better, man. Like,
teach them, right?
Yeah, teach them so they can go out and pass it on, man. Eventually, hopefully, we can start wearing down all this like evil that's out there in the world. So, just keep doing what I'm doing. You know, that's what we do. Yeah. So, any final things you want to say, like about like insurance, or just, you know?
I mean, not a whole lot about insurance. If you do want to, you know, have a review, I'd love to sit down with you. I hate pushy salespeople. I promise you, I will never try to push anyone on anything. But I will do a review for you. I guarantee you'll learn something about your current insurance if we do sit down. That's all I really have to say about that. But thank you for coming out today, Danelle.
Oh man,
thank you, Facebook community, for sitting with us today.
Thanks, JP.
Thank you, JP, for your comments as well. And yeah, that's about it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Let's get some warm up around here.
I know, man.
No more snow until the end of this year.
Oh man, right? Yeah. Hopefully we get some of the warm weather. Will just push back into the winter. And
we're ready for spring now. Let's start our real spring. So
that's what it is, guys. Ryan Burton, Farm Bureau Insurance, Small Guy Promotions. What's up, Omaha? Make sure to check out his page. Hit the like button on it. You know, check him out. Send him an email if you have questions, or send him a message. Laugh, help someone else laugh, smile, help someone else smile. Have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend. Peace out. Yeah.
See you, everybody.